Mass shootings like the one in Moncton usually stir the debate around gun control here in Canada. Today, the National Firearms Association issued a release suggesting excessive gun laws can be harmful. Is there actually a link between laws and gun violence? Is this too early to raise this debate? Joining me now from Prince George, British Columbia, Sheldon Clare, the president of the National Firearms Association. Sir, can you give me, why did your organization already, the suspect still at large, 3 officers dead, still not identified, why did your organization feel the need to release a press release immediately about gun control laws?
Well, first, I want to express the sympathies of the National Firearms Association for those members and their families and friends who've been injured and killed in this terrible tragedy. This is certainly a horrible event, and we see this as something that's just an awful happening, and that we're terribly sad about. In terms of our sending out a release at this time, when we discussed this with our board and our staff, it was our sense that we would either be silent and appear to have some sort of problem there, or we were to speak out and deal with the issue head on, and we've chosen to deal with it head on.
Now, you said in your, I'll read it so folks get a sense of what it is. You said it is clear that Canada's excessive firearms control system has failed again.
Yes, that's
given how little we know about the situation, is it too early to already point to a failure of the, quote, firearms control system?
Well, the firearms control system over a number of years has been claimed to prevent such things from happening. Clearly, this is an event that has not been prevented from happening, which represents a failure of the firearms control system. In fact, what this tragedy does is reinforce the research of Dr. Kaylin Langman, which has conclusively demonstrated that none of Canada's firearms control legislation over the past 45 years or so has had any effect whatsoever on preventing violence, violent crime, or any other related.
But what does? I mean, what people are looking at the United States, where they have many more gun deaths and massacres.
Well, they have a larger
different gun
population
laws.
too, Solomon. Their population is 10 times our population.
But even per capita,
I think even per capita, you can look at the statistical information and you can see that they have a different demographic in many respects than we have in Canada, and our demographic is our own. And I think comparisons to the United States don't have a lot of credibility when you go that way, because I think what the point is here, it's not about firearms, it's about the person who's wielding. And I think you need to.
But isn't it about how someone, maybe, again, we don't know very much about the suspect, but how does someone who may have a mental illness, who may be unstable, how do they get a firearm? Isn't that relevant?
Well, I don't know that this person has been assessed to be unstable. It could be on drugs. It could be all sorts of things. There are many rumors flying around. But quite frankly, assigning a license to someone is no guarantee of the behavior that happens after. The licensing system has never prevented a crime. It has had no effect whatsoever on violence. And whether this person's licensed or not, it's obviously a failure of the system to have dealt with the situation as it could have been. Firearms owners are the natural allies of the police. And
so are you trying to prevent a backlash? I've got about 10 seconds.
Legislating against insanity does not work. What you need to do is provide broader funding for healthcare resources.
Okay.
That's what would help.
We're kind of breaking up here, so I'm going to leave it there just because we can't we got the Skype going. Sheldon Clare, the president of the National Firearms Association, they've weighed in on this, and I appreciate your perspective. And of course, this will be part of the debate ahead. But for now, suspect still at large. There's a manhunt on in Moncton, an armed and dangerous suspect, 24 years old. Moncton in lockdown. Mr. Clare, I appreciate your perspective on this, and we're getting all different kind of perspectives on this. There'll be more ahead on Power and Politics. Please stay with us.